There's no way to describe an ayahuasca ceremony unless you've done one. Okay. So we are a half hour away from second ceremony. I feel much more prepared and ready to surrender than I did last night. And I got some really good advice from all the workshops today, advice from the shaman from last night, advice from Jerry, the owner. When they discussed what happened with me a lot today is lack of trust. Surprise! And fear. Lack of trust, obviously fear, overthinking it stuck in your head. And just seeing everybody else's stories and journeys was inspiring. The intention is for trust and lack of trust, and it is out of my head and into my heart. Show me how to trust. I believe I don't even know what trust is, and I was stuck in my head a lot last night. Please show me how to trust, and out of my head and into my heart. So that's my intention for tonight. Trust, which actually is a big one for me, and I'm excited. I'm ready. I'm fucking ready. And I'll probably do rape again because that was great. So I'll see you in the morning. Okay, I made it through ceremony 2. So last night was much more eventful than Monday night. Last night, Sarah was the shaman, who I loved her energy from the first night, and I wanted to make sure to take my drink from her, and I used the trust intention all night, which really helped. So again, I took rape, went up for the first drink, and went and laid back down and just stuck with my intention, and it really, really helped. And I cleared my mind. I was good. Felt it hit me again with the very like soft like pulsing. As that was happening, that's when you kind of know everybody's kind of feeling the same thing, because you start to hear people move around, you start to maybe hear someone throw up, you start to hear people go to the bathroom, and there's just movement. And this one I felt hit me harder. I did kind of, it's so hard to explain. I started to feel like just very like out of it. And the color kind of shifted in the room and almost like a pink. And I felt like I was laying in the middle of Cirque du Soleil, because there was just so much going on around me. And like I was like, I'm in a fucking circus right now. And I opened my eyes because I could hear someone walking, and it freaked me out because it was one of the facilitators, but he was wearing like a hat, and he's a big guy, tall, and he was walking right by like the edge of the row of beds that I was on. And when I opened my eyes, it's dark in there. I couldn't see who it was. All I could see was this person with a hat. That was not like a shaman, not wearing a lot of things, like just a shirt and pants and a hat. And it reminded me of like some kind of like villain or something. I don't know, but it took me a second to figure out who it was. I was like, what is that walking through the room? Like, am I tripping? And it just ended up being him. And I think he had a bag on, like he was wearing like a bag, and I was like, what is coming out of his back? So I was definitely much more disoriented than I was the first night. Just really strange. I managed to get up to pee. I think I ended up laying like upside down on the bed, but it was just drunk, just disoriented. They called for the second drink, and at first, as soon as they called for it, I was like, oh God, I don't know if I can do another one right now, but I'm like, you have to do it. And then I remembered, wait, you have some time, because you're not going to go up and stand in that line again, which is what made you feel crazy the night before. And so I waited for the line to go down, and by the time the line went down, like I easily started like pushing myself up onto the mattress and sitting up, and And once I sat up and I was watching the line go down, and again seeing the whole place getting a second drink, a lot of other people were waiting for the line to go down too, I started to feel better. And I'm like, I can fucking do this. I got it. And I made sure to get in Sarah's line, and I went up, and she just seemed so proud that I had gotten up for the next drink after me telling her my experience from the night before. And I told her, I'm like, maybe not a full glass, but more than half. Like, just leave a little space at the top for my own well-being. And she did, and then she blessed me, and I felt so proud after I took that shot, and so brave. I was like, I'm fucking brave. I fucking did it. And it didn't come back up. I took it, and good. So I felt really exhilarated after that, and really happy and proud of myself. And I went outside by the fire, and I just started to cry and cry and cry. And I introduced myself to the fire, and then I said my parents' names, and I said I want to throw, because you're supposed to throw things into the fire, I want to throw my fear, my worry, my mistrust into the fire, not only for me, but for my family. And I'm just sitting there crying, because the whole thing was just very beautiful. There were other people out there. It was really good. And then I walked around in the grass, and I'm just like smushing my feet in the grass, just kind of trying to contact earth, and just being on the earth, looking at the stars and looking at the moon, and like I turn around and the moon's right there, and it was really, really nice. And I'm still crying, but it was just like a relief. And go back inside, sit back down, lay back down. I wrote some stuff. And when I was thinking, like, I'm brave, I laid back down, I'm like, I'm brave, I'm a fucking warrior, like, I did it, you know, after having so many people bring me down and beat me down and make me feel, like, less. It felt very good. I felt very proud. And then the second cup starts to hit, and you feel it, like, you feel hot, like, you feel the heat, and I'm like, here we go again. God, I don't remember what happened next. Just weird, disoriented, and laying there and being like, what is this supposed to mean? What's happening? Oh, I got spotlights. Oh God, I'm so nervous for tonight. And the only vision that I remember really seeing, and again, is it really a vision, or is it just my mind's eye just being messed up or whatever, was, for some reason, like, I was pretty far in another place. I should have kind of stayed there. I think I kept trying to ground myself and bring myself back to the room. And I started seeing, like, Christmas cookies, and then Halloween decorations, and I think for a second I felt like I was laying in, like, a graveyard, but, like, not a real graveyard, like a Halloween Horror Nights graveyard. Like, it felt like Halloween. And then all of a sudden I just saw this big platter of, like, Thanksgiving dinner, and I'm like, what is with the fucking holidays? Why do holidays keep popping into my head? Later on, I was telling someone the story, and they had said, well, it sounds like a celebration. So I was like, that's cool, good point. And then I was just kind of rolling around on the mattress, just like breathing and exhaling and sighing, and I don't know, it was just fucking bizarre. And at one point I just remember laying there and thinking, like, laughing to myself, like, like, and I'm just saying to myself, what the fuck, because you're at the peak of this trip, and the whole room is doing the same, like, at the same point, but on different journeys. Like, you have people just retching, throwing up, retching, like, violent. And then you have people moaning and sounding like they're in pain. And you have the shamans going around blessing people. then you look up and you see people walking around with their buckets, like The Walking Dead. Like, you can tell they're trying to process something, and they're just like wandering around. And it's literally like The Walking Dead. There's no way to describe an ayahuasca ceremony unless you've done one. And it's so strange, and it's like the sounds of ceremony, the feathers and the smoke, and it's so intense. And then I was laying on my stomach at one point, and I was like tapping my feet on the bed to the music, and all of a sudden I got an image of little deer hoofs like dancing in the snow. Like, it was just like this much, like the bottom part of a deer hoof or leg or whatever, and it was like dancing in the snow. And all I could think of was the deer statue in the front of my grandparents' house, like in the snow, dancing. And then it clicked, and I sat up, and I was on my stomach, so I kind of like pushed up, and I said, "Dance studio." Because my grandmother always wanted us to open, or we wanted to, or she was our biggest fan, me and my sister. And we always said we would open a dance studio in her name, like for her. So that was cool. I wrote that down. And then I got this feeling of, I thought all of a sudden my mom popped in my head, and I got this extreme feeling and sense of fear and sadness and worry about me being here. And it was strong. Like, it was her feelings. It wasn't just my guilt about me being here and me feeling bad that she, was scared for me. It was her feelings. I was bawling. It was so strong. And when I talked to her today, that happened with her thinking that and going to bed at the same time. So that was a connection for sure. And that was intense, and that kind of made me start thinking, like, oh, I have to call her tomorrow, I have to tell her I'm okay. And I did say to Mother Ayahuasca, please send love and to her, and let her know that I'm okay, let her know that I'm fine and I'm in good hands. And but it made me really sad, like really sad, kind of for the rest of the ceremony. But got up, and then the celebration started, and I knew it was kind of winding down. We're in the last couple hours, and Sarah comes up to me and she's like, come celebrate and dance. And it was a really good night, and I felt very accomplished and very strong and very proud. And so I got up, and I'm everybody, a lot of the people are up there. Some people are still just stuck to their bed, but a lot of people are up there dancing. We're all dancing. The shamans are dancing. Like, they even have their own little world that they're in. It's really amazing. But I'm up there, and I'm still kind of stuck in the whole mom thing, and I'm up there, and I'm dancing, but I'm crying, and it's crazy. And I think I went and laid back down for a little bit, and then they started to, someone got up and started playing the guitar, and then started playing like Beatles songs. Really beautiful. It was really nice to see everybody kind of coming back from, whatever they had just gone through. And it's crazy to see these people during the day and how happy and joyful and good people they are, and then to see them in the middle of an ayahuasca ceremony in the most vulnerable time. It's insane. There's no describing this, and I feel like I still need to go deeper. I'm scared. Fucking scared. And we have Taita tonight, and it's a ceremony that goes from 6:30 to 8 a.m. So it's a long one. And I want to say like, oh, I'll pace myself, but that's not the fucking point. The point is to push yourself. And after having the meeting that we just had in the class and hearing other people's kind of stories and questions from last night, there were some that were scary. And it kind of brought my confidence back down. But I really have to just try to think of last night and fucking do it and get through it. And it's Taita. It's Taita doing our ceremony tonight. Like, we're in good fucking hands. I'm just trying to chill and kind of take my bravery from last night with me and get out of my head and into my heart like my intention was last night, because I can slip back into that, and I feel like that's what's taking over. But it's easier to almost control now. It really helps, that intention. And I'm hoping to maybe have an inner child experience tonight and kind of merge back with my soul. I'm just nervous because my first 2 nights were very kind of enjoyable, easy. There was intensity, definitely, and just this feeling of, they call it the celestial drunkenness. And I'm definitely stuck in the drunk thing, that's for sure. So to get past that, you have to drink more. And to think of that is almost like unfathomable. but I can do it. I can do it. I did it last night. I can do it again. And to work with Taita and do this with him is a once-in-a-lifetime experience. How can this not be good? So here we go. Let's survive night 3.